And good morning to you. Hope you are doing well, and welcome on in to a Tuesday, January 27th. You know, I thought, Joan, yesterday was cold.
I know, and today is ridiculous.
This building, I don't know what in the world has happened, but this building is absolutely freezing. So I've got Joan's little heater in the studio. Hopefully it's not distracting.
I'm glad you're using it.
Oh, it is crazy. By the way, you were talking about, did you say
frost quakes?
Frost quakes?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got audio of a frost quake. Do you want to hear it?
You do? Go.
Yeah. I do. This is on Super Talk TV 2. Make sure that your audio is up, and this is what a frost quake sounds like. Now, here's the crazy thing.
That's crazy.
Hey, now, here's the crazy. You can kill that music there if you want there, Sam. Sam's back. Now, here's the crazy thing. So RJ and I were sitting here yesterday trying to get through the radio broadcast, and we were just sitting. It was during a break, and what did we hear? We heard that. And you know, I kid you not, Joan, I think one of the sports guys just got pissed off. I did, because it sounded like somebody was, slamming a door, kicking a door, or something like that. But apparently, this is what one of these mysterious frost quake sounds like.
So it makes sense, right? So it rained more than 2 inches. It seeps into the ground, and there's so much rock right below the surface here in Tennessee. So it seeps into the ground, and then it freezes. We've had such a deep freeze, and the rocks crack. So it's like crazy cool. But man, that is it's disconcerting.
Unless it wakes you up, in the middle of the night. So, but that is a frost quake. By the way, part of my radio broadcast today, Joan, is various ways in which Antifa and these protesters are terrorizing ICE agents.
Oh.
Now, I believe that in my hotel room, Antifa and these protesters have infiltrated my hotel, because I believe that Antifa terrorists, Joan, are staying in the room next to me and purposely preventing me from sleeping.
Do you know why, Joan? That sound like little kids?
They do. 3 little girls. And all they're doing is screaming like little girls. I almost taped it, Joan. Taped it because I'm thinking, how could 3 little children make such noise? They must know that I'm a conservative talk show host, pro-ICE, pro-Border Patrol, and they're making sure that I cannot sleep so that I sound like crap during today's broadcast. That's the only explanation. I kid you not. I looked out my peephole at my hotel room. Do you know what these kids are doing in the hallway? They're playing hockey in the hallway. And they're hitting this ball that is supposed to be like a hockey puck. Well, here's the problem. The kid playing the goalie was terrible, and so the ball kept going past the goalie and hitting my door.
Oh.
And so I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, okay, so what do I do? Because clearly the parents don't care. These kids are screaming. Now, I realize that I sound like a get off my lawn. I understand that.
Get off my lawn.
But everybody knows the hours that I work, right? So I'm trying to go to sleep at like 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. And I just can't because of all of the incessant screaming. Now, here's the funny thing. So my hotel, and I'm purposely not saying what hotel it is because I'm going to be honest with you, it's a great hotel. So I'm not going to be that guy to call out the hotel. But this is what's really funny, Joan, is that I get these text messages from the hotel. Are you happy? Would you like anything? We have coffee that is for sale down in the lobby, along with blueberry muffins, right? So I text back to this text that I keep getting from the hotel. I said, does anybody actually read these? A couple of hours later, I get a text message from the hotel. Do you know what it says? Yes, China.
China?
Oh.
China
China.
China reads the text messages that I sent back to the text line at the hotel. And so clearly they were not going to help me in this situation with these screaming children. I show up at the radio station last night at probably about 10 o'clock, trying to sleep.
Oh, that's a shame, Dan.
Really? You're going to sit there and you're going to laugh at me, Joan?
Yeah, because I slept really well last night. And,
I'm sure you did.
And I'm in my pajamas and
I was
fuzzy
about
bunny
to
slippers.
say, this is a pajama newscast day.
Oh, you betcha it is.
And then I don't know if I've ever felt this building so cold. So I think,
See, if I was there, we'd have to arm wrestle over the heater,
Mm-hmm.
and it would get ugly.
I wonder if we're going to hear any more frostquakes. Which, by the way, sounds like really good breakfast cereal. Whatever.
You know, there's a. Have you ever seen the crack in the newsroom wall?
Oh, yes, I have, as a matter of fact.
I always worry about the whole building coming down in the first place.
The whole building collapsing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's all the blasting they do around here.
Yes.
I mean, there's a ton, clearly, of blasting that is going on. I had USS out the other day because they're doing blasting in my neighborhood or around my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are your walls safe?
No, my walls, Joan, are buckling, which is
serious.
Yeah, I'm serious. I've got problems with my home that now USS is going to be able to fix. But I'm just here to tell you, for you people that are like, oh, you snooty talk show host, you get everything for free. No, it's not. And so now I need to, at some point get my home's foundation fixed because of all of my entire neighborhood is actually dealing with foundation issues because of this blasting. It's driving me nuts.
I don't understand why you can't sue the company who's doing the blasting.
Do you know, I thought about that, actually. I thought about that, and I don't know if I can or not. So, anyway. But listen, it's not about me. It's about Joan Jones and her comfort. So, Joan, you're comfortable there at home, are you?
Very.
Okay, you got your nice, good coffee?
Yes, I made an espresso coffee with some frothy milk because I steamed it,
Sure.
And it's
so do you really think the kids next to me are like mini Antifa? They're
yes.
purposely keeping the conservative talk show host awake so that he is unable to broadcast the following day because that's what's going on in Minneapolis.
Right.
In Minneapolis, you got the protesters and you got Antifa. You got all these people that are doing any number of things to try to harass and demonize and target ICE and Border Patrol. For example, I've got audio only.
Okay.
I've got some audio. The reason why I couldn't play the video is because, as everyone now knows, we don't have video editing equipment here at the radio station. But I had to take this video and convert it to audio so that I could take out all the F-bombs. Wait till you hear this audio from Antifa, Minneapolis. It is coming up next. Can I ask a question? And you know what? Hey, Sam, do you want to do a Daily Dan poll today? So, Joan, you may have mentioned it in your newscast, but Tom Homan is now spearheading the operations in Minnesota. So you got all these people now that are saying that Homeland Security Chief Kristi Noem is out. She's certainly out of Minnesota. Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino also has been ordered out of Minnesota. Tom Homan is now going to be spearheading the operations. Donald Trump is now saying that he has spoken to Tim Walz. He's spoken to Greg Fry, the Minneapolis mayor. Can I ask a question, though? And this is the Daily Dan poll question. Do you really think, and I'm not really criticizing Trump, but I feel like he is surrendering a little bit. Does he really believe that things are going to change in Minnesota by ordering Kristi Noem and Greg Bovino out? Joan, do you think things are going to change in Minnesota?
I think there's more than meets the eye. I think that what's happening behind the scenes is what's the real deal. And what we're seeing with the Kristi Noem and Bovino, that's just the show that we're supposed to pay attention to. Trump is working his magic behind the scenes, talking with Walz and Fry and those guys. That's what's really happening, and we're just not going to see it. We may learn it later, but we're not going to see it right now. That's how it plays out in my head.
So then here's my question. Be that as it may, and you could be right. Do you think that Tom Homan coming into Minnesota is going to stop this guy?
My name is Kyle. I'm Antifa, and there's so much rage in me that I've had to record this like 15 times trying to get the message out. They f***ed up, okay? Go watch my other videos. Doesn't matter if you're not here and you're not caught up. You missed the fucking fight. But if you are, it's time to suit up. Boots on the ground. Nicollet and f***ing 26th. My house is 4 blocks away. Anywhere between Franklin and Nicollet and 26th and Nicollet. Show up, ready to go.
So it sounds like this guy is just going to call off his call to arms because Tom Homan will now be spearheading the operations. I can feel the unity now with this guy now that Tom Homan is coming in.
Okay, not talking about peaceful protests anymore. We're not talking about having polite conversations anymore. I am talking specifically to my followers. This is everything I have talked about, and this is exactly what I said was going to happen.
You know what's so funny? So I'm listening to this guy, and he's obviously, he's probably jacked up on like 50,000 gallons of Monster drinks and roids and all that kind of stuff, clearly. Yeah. But my question to Antifa Kyle would be this. When were you ever about peaceful protests, Antifa Kyle? When were you ever about talking politely, Antifa Kyle? You and your ilk have never been about either one of those two things. So I don't believe that people like Antifa Kyle and others are going to be calling off the call to arms simply because you've got Kristi Noem and Greg Bovino out of Minnesota and Tom Homan coming in. Now, maybe, to Joan's point, perhaps you're going to have Tim Walz and Jacob Fry and Keith Ellison. Maybe what's going to happen is they'll call off Antifa Kyle. But I don't believe that they will.
This is exactly what I said was going to come when we didn't go and march on Whipple with guns.
Do you know what's so funny, by the way? Antifa Kyle and I, we actually have something in common, believe it or not. We do. We both said this was going to happen. All of us said, oh, yeah, you know what? There's going to be people that are going to die in Minnesota because of this kind of rhetoric, this kind of behavior, and this kind of attitude and anger has been ratcheted up by the likes of Tim Walz, by the likes of Greg Fry, by the likes of Keith Ellison and Ilhan Omar and Gavin Newsom. It goes on and on and on. So, yeah, Antifa Kyle, I said the same damn thing that you have, but for different reasons. Renee Good and this, what's his name? Petty guy? Alex Petty? Preddy. Both would still be alive if they had listened to Border Patrol, listened to ICE, listened to Donald Trump, and protested appropriately and not gone after ICE, not gone after the Border Patrol. But instead, they're listening to people like Antifa Kyle, who wants to now take up arms.
Sorry, but welcome to America 2026, where Second Amendment is the only thing that's going to keep you protected from literal Nazi gunmen that are killing innocent people in the street with impunity. This is not a joke. There's nothing fun to chant about it. Get your guns and stop these people.
So I really see him suddenly becoming more reasonable now that Tom Homan is going to be in Minneapolis, Joe. And I don't know. Sam, what do you think?
So, shout out HD Plow 95 on the YouTube chat saying, hey, Brother Dan, you need to look at Kyle's page a little bit more. I saw some more of him walking around in a dress. Hey, and he's a felon. He can't even own a firearm.
But he's got nice tattoos. That guy is weird.
He's walking around in a dress?
He wears dresses.
Yeah.
Joan, how does he look in his dress? Is it pretty? This guy,
he doesn't have any boobage, so no, he doesn't fill it out very well.
Honest woman there.
Right here.
Do you know what? I bet you my boobs are bigger than Antifa Kyle's. I bet you that's what I've got on them.
Yeah.
Not after visiting Contours. But
nicely done, Sam.
The premise being, any handgun class will teach you that you, whenever you are dealing with law enforcement, you have got to make it known that you are in possession of a firearm. It was one of the things I wanted to say this morning. I got pulled over with my dad in the car. The first thing he did, there's a BB gun in the back seat. Officer never saw it. The first thing he did was put his hands out the window, said, "Officer, there's a BB gun in the back seat of the car." That was before we got to license and registration. It is, any instructor will teach you, when it comes to police, you have got to make it known. You do not conceal around them like that.
I learned that somewhere along the way, too, where they said, if you get pulled over and you got a gun in your
it's the first thing you're required to do.
You've got to tell them. Even if it's in your trunk, I assume, right? I mean, I have not yet been pulled. I don't think I've been pulled over with my gun in my car. I would absolutely say something.
I'm also dying to have the question answered of why did he feel the need to have multiple magazines? I've never known anyone to carry.
Oh, Alex Preddy?
Yeah. I've never known anyone to carry with more than the one that's actually in the gun.
Well, Joan and I were talking yesterday, Joan, remember where not only did he have multiple magazines, but you and I talked about how the gun may have accidentally gone off when it was picked up by one of the law enforcement. Because
it's that model of Sig Sauer, the P320, that has been known to discharge, especially if it's dropped. Now, it didn't seem like it went off when he went down on the ground, but at some point it did go off. Or, we're thinking that that's what happened, that it went off and that caused everyone else to start firing.
Right. Yeah, that led to a reaction from ICE and Border Patrol.
Right.
And again, I'm just going to say the same thing that we've all been saying. You know what? When you go into a situation like that and you are getting in the way of ICE and the Border Patrol doing their jobs, well, then, unfortunately, things are going to happen. And that is what happened with Renee Good. That is what happened with Alex Preddy. And who knows whether Antifa Kyle here is going to go in guns blazing when, he starts his little protest. And so, but this is the attitude that we have. This is the attitude that we have today. And that's why, I saw that President Trump is speaking now with Tim Walz and Greg Fry. And I just don't know if it's going to do any good. I think that there's such a hatred for the Trump administration right now. And by the way, don't forget that this all is by design, because you've got the Democrats who want all of this attention on the chaos so that there will not be attention to the fraud. The Democrats need to ratchet up the anger for the midterm elections. What are you going to say, Sam?
Jacob Fry. You keep saying Greg Fry.
Did I say Greg Fry?
Who's Greg Fry?
Yeah.
Greg Fry is one of the corporate guys in this company that I've had meeting with. Anyway, moving right along.
He'd probably be a better mayor for Minneapolis,
You know what? Greg Fry would absolutely be a better mayor for Minneapolis. Make sure this is erased from the air check, if you would. Talking to the air outside is what this is, right? Okay, very, very good. Thank you. Foreigner and Cold as Ice. Hey, Joan.
Yes.
And Sam, I have discovered, this is crazy, but I'm watching the YouTube page, like watching the YouTube feed that we do every day.
Yeah.
Find us on YouTube and Facebook. And I've discovered a superpower that I have. Now, wasn't he able to like jump tall buildings with a single bound? Is that what Superman was able to do? I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I'm not a superhero kind of guy, even though I do apparently have superhero powers. I don't know what Batman or Robin or anybody, I don't know what their superpower was. But if you look at Super Talk TV, you'll see, Joan, that my newly acquired superpower going on now 2 weeks is the ability to suddenly and without explanation slow down and then speed right back up. I don't know what is going on over there.
Don't even get me started about it, please.
We've been trying to get this fixed. Now, we were told it was fixed like 2 weeks ago. But, Dan, it's fixed. Now, I'm not going off because there's a lot going on here with the cold and all that kind of stuff. But
this was here before the cold.
But this weird, what do you call it, buffering? This weird buffering was here before the cold.
Latency, whatever you want to call it.
Now, some of you smart Alex might say, well, Dan, you yourself have lag and latency. So it's just, it's just reflective of the show. And I do understand that. But, it is kind of funny how I just, all of a sudden, when you're watching and here's the crazy thing, Sam, our YouTube numbers are through the roof. So people have clearly sensed my superpower and are tuning in to see my superpower on YouTube. Joan, have you seen my superpower on YouTube? The ability to slow down at a millisecond and then, 2 or 3 seconds later, just speed right back up?
Yeah, I have seen it.
Isn't that's like my one and only superpower?
Well, we can't forget Joan's superpower.
What is Joan's superpower?
I've never been in an accident while farting.
Farding, farting.
All right, let's because I don't want to start going down. But if you want to see my superpower, check us out on YouTube. And you know what's crazy? And we're gonna get back to the business. But I had to remind Joan this morning that we had like really high numbers on YouTube, and she wasn't even there. She was at home with no camera. So Joan, people were tuning in to look at me. That's what it was.
Just you and you alone, Dan.
Just me and RJ.
Your beautiful bandage on your forehead. Do you still have that?
No, I don't.
No?
I hit my... people asked about that. I had I posted a video, and I was talking about whether or not I was going to drive or walk into work, the whole thing. I had a bandage on my forehead. I don't know what it is about me in hotel rooms. I hit my forehead, like right above my, possibly unibrow, but I make sure I don't. But right there, I don't know what you call this. Amy calls it my 11, my 2 lines above my nose. But anyway, so I hit my head. I hit my head on the thing again, and I'm bleeding profusely. I don't know what it is about me in hotel rooms.
I hit that happened last year too. Like
it happens every time I'm in a hotel room.
Maybe you're cursed.
Maybe that's part of my superpower. My brain lags, and I hit myself in hotel rooms and bleed all over the place. 542 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, I would just say, as far as the roads go, I think the roads are would you say that they're better, Joan? You drove in, Sam.
Yeah, Sam drove in.
I would say major roadways are likely clear. There's going to be... My experience on 24 this morning, like the far left lane when it opens up to 3 lanes is still going to be icy. There's going to be patches along the interstates. For the most part, around downtown looks pretty clear, but obviously the big worry is going to be the back roads, the neighborhood roads. Those are going to take a few days.
So when I'm driving, you'll love this. So I'm driving, and I've been stuck in the hotel. So I have been eating horribly for the last couple of days. I'm driving into work because I can't sleep because Antifa is next to me in the hotel room. And I see that Cookout, right? The burger place, Cookout, is open.
Oh, yeah.
So I turn in and...
With the same fervor that you just displayed there in front of the microphone, that was a quick turn.
Yep. And I'm trying to drive up the slope of the driveway into Cookout, and I started rolling backwards.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I felt the people in line mocking me, actually, because they see that I can't get any traction in this parking lot of Cookout in Nashville. So I finally was able to get some traction and get above the grade there. But yeah, it was, so there's still some very slick spots.
Yeah.
So be careful. Caroline Levitt was on fire in Fuego yesterday. She talked about the death of Alex Preddy, and this is part of what she said.
Nobody in the White House, including President Trump, wants to see people getting hurt or killed in America's streets. This includes Renee Good, Alex Preddy, the brave men and women of federal law enforcement, and the many Americans who have been victimized at the hands of illegal alien criminals.
You know, she brings up such a great point, and I know that you folks, you hear this all the time, so I don't want to harp on it too much, but when you look at the absolute hysteria over Alex Preddy or Renee Good, it's sad. It's unnecessary, clearly unnecessary deaths. But would you like to start talking about the unnecessary deaths of all of these Americans that have been killed specifically over the last 5 years with the wide open border of Joe Biden and all these folks that have come in? They have not been deported. They have certainly not self-deported. And so we see this over and over and over again. And so, we all know the names, Laken Riley, and there was another, Jocelyn Nungery. Did you see what happened out of North Carolina? A couple of Americans, Skylar Provenza and Fletcher Harris, were killed by wait for it, a drunken criminal illegal alien. This just happened a couple of days ago.
Oh, this is that young couple. The really
young couple,
19,
Joan, 19, 20 years old, something like that.
18 and 19.
18 and 19. Horrifying. And so I get so frustrated when you've got the media and you've got, over the last weekend, you had all of the talking heads and their, hand-wringing about Alex Preddy and, of course, Renee Good. And I agree. We don't like to see anybody die, just like Caroline Levitt just said. We don't like to see anybody die. But where is the hand-wringing over the innocent Americans that have been killed at the hands of illegal aliens? It is so incredibly sad. The Democrats will only be outraged over the death of Preddy and not over those killed by violent illegal aliens. And so the more that this goes on, and I was playing this Antifa audio from earlier, the more that this goes on, I think part of what's going to happen is there will ultimately be a backlash. There's going to be a backlash against the Democrats for how they are acting. At least I really do hope that there is. And so now my question as I started the show today was, okay, so you've got Kristi Noem and Greg Bovino both out. Tom Homan is in. But I don't think that this is actually going to change the dynamic in Minnesota. Do you? I don't think that it is. And Tom Homan, we love Tom Homan on the right, but, the left, the left believes that he is, Satan, just like just like they feel like Stephen Miller is Satan, or Kristi Noem, or, Greg Bovino. This is what Tom Homan said yesterday after all of this came down.
6% decline. 96% less people are coming. How many women aren't being raped? How many children aren't dying making that journey? How many women and children aren't being sex trafficked into this country every day? How many known suspected terrorists aren't just walking across that border? President Trump and this administration is saving thousands of lives every month. Hard stop. That's just a stone cold fact. I'm just proud to be a part of this. I work with Steve Miller every day. Steve Miller is one of the most brilliant people I've met in my entire life.
There you go. Stephen Miller. By the way, did we do a Daily Dan poll? I know we got a lot going on, but did we do a Daily Dan poll as far as, I forget exactly how I worded it?
Yeah. Do you really think things will change in Minnesota after Noem and Bovino leave?
Yeah, will the presence of Tom Homan suddenly magically mean that things will be de-escalated? Because I believe that Trump having these conversations with Tim Walz and Jacob Fry, I get that the president is trying to de-escalate the situation. I appreciate what the president is trying to do. I just don't think it's going to really do any good.
And we're at 81% saying no.
Okay, so Daily Dan poll, I like when, people, agree with me. That's always a good sign.
I think Homan's the scarier of everybody involved. I mean, when you listen to him say why he does what he does with his job and cares about the safety and security of not just the people of this nation, but especially the children, because he's disgusted by the ones that have been trafficked into this country.
Tom Homan has seen the absolute worst of the worst.
He looks like he put the fear of God in you if you're alone in a room with him.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I would like to see Tom Homan in a room with Antifa Kyle, who we played his audio.
Thought you were going to say Tim Waltz.
Or Tim Waltz. Oh, you want to talk about a difference between two men. Tom Homan and Tim Waltz. I mean, you could not get any polar opposites. Tampon Tim.
I'm pretty sure, I was about to say, I'm pretty sure Governor Waltz would probably soak his tampon there.
So he is right, by the way. The amount of lives that Donald Trump has saved, Tom Homan and his administration have saved, the amount of lives saved is enormous. And please don't forget, it is the Democrats who've actually been calling for people to get hurt, right? Say it with me. Democrats support assassination culture, celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, angry that the assassin didn't get a more accurate shot to take out Donald Trump. Remember this story. Don't forget this story. As President Trump, and I've got very mixed feelings about this because I do feel like President Trump is, raising the white flag in coming out and saying he had very constructive conversations with Tim Waltz and Jacob Fry. But remember this story from back in July. Axios reported that over 24, I shared this with you, over 24 Democratic lawmakers said that their own base wanted them to get more violent and radical and that there needs to be blood spilled. Remember this?
Abigail Spanberger, let your rage fuel you.
That's exactly right. And she got elected. And now people in Virginia are freaking out because of, you know what? We're going to speak to Matthew Hurt about just this coming up a little bit later on in the program. I'm going to ask him if he's going to move out of Virginia because that's where he lives is Virginia. And old Abigail Spanberger, they're running, I guess, as a moderate. But now, and we went over this a couple of days ago, so I don't want to regurgitate, but she has brought forward all of these different really, really hardcore progressive Marxist, policies that she's going to try to push through. And, people seem to be shocked and dismayed, and I'm not. We knew exactly what they were going to do. But remember, the Democrats have been calling for the spilling of blood. Axios, July, quote, our own base is telling us that what we're doing is not good enough, that there needs to be blood to grab the attention of the press and the public. One House Democrat told Axios anonymously. The same lawmaker said some constituents have suggested Democrats need to be willing to get shot. Remember that? I'm going to repeat that. Same lawmaker said some of the constituents have suggested that Democrats need to be willing to get shot while visiting facilities like those of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Another lawmaker said constituents told them civility is not working and urged violence to fight to protect our democracy. It is that kind of rhetoric that led to the death of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. And you know who has been spewing that kind of rhetoric? Y'all know. Abigail Spanberger, Jacob Fry, Tim Waltz, Keith Ellison, and many other people on the left.
Jay Jones, who also won his election as AG of Virginia. But to support why we are not going to really bat an eye so much so of what's happening in Minneapolis, the U.S. homicide rate in the last year has declined 20 to 21%.
Yep.
And in fact, if we keep at this pace, it'll be the lowest since 1900.
Yep. You're right.
And
that's all Trump. That is all Donald Trump. By the way, 0104 says the roads are horrible this morning. Probably, where are you? Hey, folks, if you're going to tell me, thank you, 0104. If you're going to tell me where the roads are horrible, let me know when you text me because I don't know where you are.
I came in 24 eastbound from Robertson County. That's where I saw everything pretty much clear. Didn't want to upset anybody. I'm sorry. That's Dan's job.
So we're hearing a lot from people who are saying that it's the overpasses, bridges, on and off ramps, that kind of thing that's still really bad this morning.
Yeah.
Which you would expect.
6755 says maybe it will be better with Homan, but Tim Waltz will probably get all gussied up.
Yeah, so there's a piece of audio making the rounds on social media as it relates to Democrats saying that you should be willing to take a bullet.
Yeah.
If it's a quick clip from a children's movie.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make. Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
What movie is that?
Shrek.
Shrek, of course
Lord
it's Shrek.
Farquaad addressing
one of the greatest movies ever with Shrek. All right, very good. Yeah, let us know. Let us know if you're. I'm trying to do a regular show today because we nerded out on the weather and all the closures and everything yesterday. So I want to try to have more of a regular show today. But if you do see some issues out there that we need to let people know, let's see here. 7789, truck driver just drove from Cleveland, Tennessee to Tullahoma, Tennessee with absolutely no issues, perfectly clear roads. I mean, I think in 9252, 840 over the bridges are horrible.
I would imagine things south of Davidson County that got a touch more ice are going to have a little bit more difficulty.
4273, all roads in Dixon are bad.
Aren't they normally bad?
Be careful of the parking lot
The
of Cookout in Nashville. That's what you need to watch out for.
See, I thought that story was going to go another direction, and you got your cookout, you got your burger and your shake, and then you did donuts afterwards.
No. I could have done a little spin around if I just, kept going down that hill. But people are making fun of the Antifa kids, like next to me in the hotel.
I refer to my nieces and nephews as little terrorists.
Little terrorists? That's what these kids were. These kids were little terrorists playing hockey in the...
They make similar sounds.
Yeah, they do.